When survival becomes your soft girl era, healing after losing a child. I want to tell you about a woman who changed the way I understand grief, resilience, and what it means to survive the unsurvivable. Her name is Queen Victoria Madison, and yes, that's her real name because apparently her parents knew she was destined for royalty. Queen Victoria is a healer, an advocate, a bridge builder between pain and purpose. She has dedicated her entire life to making sure that Black women who've lost children don't have to grieve in silence, don't have to pretend they're fine when they're falling apart, and don't have to carry the weight of systemic failure on their shoulders alone. Her work is shifting policy conversations, changing lives, and reminding us that our pain deserves to be held with the kind of tenderness we so often give to everyone else but ourselves. Today, I'm sharing what Queen Victoria taught me and what she desperately wants you to know. Let's start with the truth. Nobody wants to say out loud. Black babies die at twice the rate of white babies in this country, twice. Not because Black mothers love their babies any less, not because we're doing something wrong, but because the systems that are supposed to protect us don't. In South Carolina alone, in 2023, Black infants faced a mortality rate of 11.7 per 1,000 births, compared to 5.2 for white infants. Preterm birth, birth defects, sudden infant death syndrome, these aren't just clinical terms on a chart. These are our babies, our dreams wrapped in onesies, our futures we whispered to in the dark. And if you're a single Black woman who's lost a child, you're not just navigating grief, you're navigating a grief that's compounded by isolation, by a world that doesn't always see you, by a healthcare system that statistically fails you at every turn. Queen Victoria told me something that knocked the wind out of me. She said, Sis, the first step to healing isn't to be strong, it's to be honest. It's to say, this happened to me and it's not okay, and I'm not okay, and that's valid. And I sat there thinking, how many of us have been taught that being strong means swallowing our pain? How many of us have been told that grief is something to get over, not something to move through? Let me tell you about a woman named Aisha Jenkins. Aisha was a single Black mother living in rural South Carolina. She was a professional, a woman who was doing everything society told her to do. She was working hard, building a career, carrying a baby she already loved with a fierceness that made her glow. But her baby was born premature, and just days later, that baby passed. Aisha was alone, no partner sitting in the hospital room holding her hand, no family nearby to bring casseroles and sit with her in silence. Just her and a grief so enormous it felt like it was swallowing the walls. She didn't know where to turn. She didn't know if anyone would understand what it felt like to lose a child you never got to fully hold. She didn't know if anyone would see her pain as legitimate because she was single, because she was Black, because the world has a way of making us feel like our grief doesn't count unless it fits into a neat little box. But Aisha found a local Black maternal health support group. She found a therapist who centered her grief, her identity, her reality as a single Black woman navigating a loss that statistics said was twice as likely to happen to her. And slowly, breath by breath, she found her voice again. But here's the thing, Aisha didn't just survive, she transformed her pain into purpose. She started a peer group that has now helped over 20 single mothers navigate their own losses. She sparked conversations in her community about Black infant health that are now influencing local policy. Aisha's story isn't about being strong in the way we've been taught to define strength. It's about being real. It's about saying, I'm grieving and I need help, and that's not weakness, and that's wisdom. Queen Victoria told me something else I'll never forget. She said, your grief is not a burden, it's a bridge to healing, a bridge to community, a bridge to the version of yourself that's waiting on the other side. And I felt that in my bones because so many of us have been taught to carry our pain quietly, to keep moving, to stay strong for everyone else. But what if strength isn't about carrying it alone? What if strength is about putting it down and letting your sisters help you carry it? The second thing Queen Victoria wants you to know is this: you need a network, not just any network, a bold, unapologetic, faith filled, therapy embracing, sister centered network that sees you, holds you, and refuses to let you disappear into your grief. The data is devastatingly clear. Black women experience 49.4 pregnancy related deaths per 100,000 births compared to 14.9 for white women. Let that sink in. Racism, chronic stress, lack of access to quality care. These aren't abstract concepts debated in academic journals. They're life and death realities. And when you lose a child as a single Black woman, the isolation can feel unbearable. You're not just grieving the baby, you're grieving the future you imagined, the family you thought you'd have, the identity you thought you'd step into, the version of yourself that was supposed to exist, and you're doing it alone, but you don't have to. Let me tell you about Maya Thompson. Maya was a single entrepreneur in Georgia, building a business from the ground up, building a life, carrying a baby. She was stressed, she was exhausted, she was doing all the things we're told we have to do to prove we're worthy. And at 28 weeks pregnant, she lost her baby to stillbirth. Maya didn't have a partner to lean on. She didn't have a traditional support system waiting in the wings. But she refused to let her grief be the final chapter of her story. She formed an online community for single Black mothers who've lost children. She incorporated faith circles because she knew that for many of us, faith is the foundation we stand on when the ground feels like it's crumbling. She brought in counselors. She created a space where women could show up messy, broken, angry, sad, and still be loved. That network grew to 500 members. Maya hosted empowerment retreats where women shared their testimonies, their tears, their triumphs. She launched a wellness brand. She turned her pain into a platform. And now her work is inspiring policy conversations about mental health support for Black women post loss. Queen Victoria said it best: her sisterhood isn't just nice to have, it's survival. It's the difference between drowning and learning to float. And here's the thing: building that network isn't about being perfect. It's not about having it all together. It's about being present. It's about reaching out to one sister this week and saying, I'm not okay and I need you. It's about joining a support group. Even if you're terrified, it's about going to therapy. Even if it feels like admitting defeat, but it's not defeat, it's devotion. Devotion to yourself, devotion to your healing, devotion to the life you still get to live. The third thing Queen Victoria wants you to know is this: you get to reclaim your life. You get to choose softness. You get to choose self care. You get to choose joy again without guilt, without apology, without explanation. Two-thirds of maternal deaths in this country are preventable. Around 700 women die every year from pregnancy related causes, and Black women are 2 to 3 times more at risk. That's not just a healthcare failure, that's a moral crisis. That's a call to action. It's a reminder that we have to advocate for ourselves fiercely and unapologetically. But it's also a reminder that healing requires softness, it requires rest, it requires rituals that remind you that you're still here and your life still matters. Let me tell you about Latoya Harris. Latoya was a driven single professional in a southern state. She had a healthy newborn. Everything seemed fine. The baby was thriving, and then suddenly it wasn't. Her baby died from sudden infant death syndrome. Latoya was devastated. She was alone. She was drowning in guilt, in grief, in the cultural stigma that told her she should have been able to prevent it. The whispers, the questions, the judgment. But Latoya made a choice. She adopted daily self care rituals. She went to therapy. She sought out mentorship from elder Black women who had survived similar losses and lived to tell about it. She learned to journal her strength. She learned to rest without apology. She learned to say no to things that drained her and yes to things that filled her. And slowly, she reclaimed her life. She advanced in her career. She became an advocate. She published a survival guide. She spoke at over 10 events, sharing her story with vivid hope and raw honesty. She turned her survival into something sacred. Queen Victoria told me self care isn't selfish, it's sacred. It's how you honor the baby you lost and the woman you still are. And I want you to hear that. Because if you're a single Black woman who's lost a child, you might feel like you don't deserve softness. You might feel like you have to keep hustling, keep proving, keep surviving. But Queen Victoria is here to tell you, and I'm here to echo it, you deserve to rest. You deserve to heal. You deserve to reclaim your joy, your peace, your life. This is your soft girl era. Not because the pain is gone, but because you're choosing to hold it differently. You're choosing to let it soften you instead of harden you. You're choosing to build a life that honors your grief and your growth at the same time. So here's what I need you to do. This week, I need you to boldly reach out to one sister or one group. Share your story, ask for support, and commit to one soft self care act every single day. Maybe it's journaling your strength. Maybe it's taking a walk without your phone. Maybe it's saying no to something that drains you. Maybe it's lighting a candle and sitting in silence, just breathing, just being. And whatever it is, do it. Not because you have to, but because you deserve to. Queen Victoria Madison is out here doing the work, changing the world, holding space for Black women who've lost children. And she wants you to know you're not alone. Your grief is valid. Your pain is real and your healing is possible. You get to survive and you get to thrive. You get to be soft and bold at the same time. You get to cry and laugh in the same breath. You get to honor your baby and honor yourself. This is your soft girl era, and it starts right now. But here's the thing I need you to understand this isn't just about you, it's about the woman sitting next to you who's grieving in silence. It's about the sister in your group chat who's been distant lately. It's about the next generation of Black women who deserve to inherit a world where their grief is seen, their pain is validated, and their healing is supported. When you choose to heal, you're not just saving yourself, you're creating a blueprint for survival. You're building a bridge for the women coming behind you. So I'm asking you to do something radical. I'm asking you to stop performing strength and start practicing softness. I'm asking you to stop carrying the weight of the world and start asking for help. I'm asking you to stop apologizing for taking up space and start claiming the space you deserve because your life matters, your grief matters, your healing matters, and the world needs you whole, not just functional. This is your invitation, this is your permission slip. This is your moment. Don't wait for the pain to go away before you start living again. Start living because you're still here. Start healing because you deserve it. Start thriving because that's what your baby would want for you. Your soft girl era isn't about being weak, it's about being wise enough to know that you can't pour from an empty cup. It's about being brave enough to say, I need help. It's about being bold enough to believe that joy is still possible, even after loss. So reach out, rest, reclaim, and remember you are not alone. You are seen, you are loved, and you are worthy of every soft, sacred, beautiful moment of healing that's waiting for you.